Today we are talking about TikTok. What is the tea with TikTok? Honestly, it has changed my life. Should I go towards TikTok in 2024? Should I not? So let's go timeline from when I started to grow on TikTok. Like, how do you know your niche? Say goodbye to the niche. You are the niche. Let's talk about some of the lessons that I learned. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Iffy. If you're new to my channel, I make videos on post-grad, lifestyle, starting your own business, just going after your dream life and the journey I'm on going through that process. I am 26, I live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm an ex-social media manager, freelancer, and also ex-corporate girly. I have a video on both of those topics if you want to check them out and see my journey quitting my corporate job with no plan and then also getting into freelance and doubling and tripling my income. But today we are talking about TikTok. What is the tea with TikTok? Okay, I have definitely seen the most progress with TikTok. It's been the most rewarding app for me, and honestly, in ways it has changed my life. If you're watching this video, you might be wondering, should I go towards TikTok in 2024? Should I not? You might have a clear answer by the end of this video, but in a nutshell, it honestly depends on your goal. I think without a doubt, anyone starting to post on TikTok can learn something. Even as a consultant for people and helping them with their social media and their marketing, I've had and seen people use TikTok to kind of find their voice, find their message, and whether they keep posting or not, they've gained something from the process. It honestly teaches you more than you think it will, and it's like, how can this small app actually do anything for me? It takes you through a process at a rapid rate, which I don't think a lot of other things do. With the algorithms on Instagram, even YouTube and Twitter, all the other OG apps, I don't think it's as rapid and fast in terms of learning as TikTok can be. And I think that's why it taught me so much in such a short period of time, and it's still teaching me so much. All that these apps do is just bring out what's already there. There's no scary algorithm boogeyman. There's no, oh my God, this app hates me. It's just bringing out human nature in a different way through technology. But when it amplifies those things, I think it teaches you so much about yourself. You're forced to look in the mirror and ask the right questions so you can grow as a creator, so you can grow as an entrepreneur. Basically, in all different ways, I feel like TikTok can be very useful to anyone, just even the average person. But beware, because it is very addicting and it does have a bad side and people can be mean. But if your goal is important enough, you can push past all of that and still use it in a way that makes it beneficial for you and also gets you towards your goal. If you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss another upload. So the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit of the context behind me posting on TikTok, because I think it plays into some of the lessons I learned and also the process I went through and why. Like I told you, I'm an ex-freelancer. Basically from 2021 until 2022, I was freelancing full-time. I was basically working 40-hour weeks. There were times I even had like 8 to 10 clients at a time. And right before I went into freelance, I had decided that content creation was not for me, which is not true. I was just really defeated at the time. A lot of my content wasn't working out and I was trying to be an influencer and it basically failed. But to sum it up, I basically wasn't being myself. I was trying to use what was working, what was trendy. I'm really into fashion. I'm also really into travel and experiences and aesthetics. So I was really trying to copy that aesthetic mold. Like, I was that Instagram girl who had every photo on her grid planned out in a certain way, like 3 weeks ahead of time. I was making events in my life and curating things based on the aesthetic and not actually living my life. And I'm not trying to blame it on the rhetoric around social media and trends, but I do feel like that was kind of pushed down our throats for a certain period of time on those apps, and it was just popular that you have to do what's working. You have to do what's trendy. Your content is for someone else. And that's just something that I wholeheartedly was not aligning with. Like, as much as I wanted to believe it, it was draining me. Like, having to create this perfect morning routine or having to create the perfect coffee because I drink perfect coffees. It just didn't match my everyday reality. And that was some days, right? But it wasn't every day. And there was so much talk about SEO, doing hashtags, even putting tags into the alt descriptions. I was enjoying it more for validation, people liking me, being in the in crowd versus the out crowd. So it just wasn't hitting. So in 2021, that's when I decided that I had to take a break. A friend even talked to me and was just like, I think you should just pause because your reaction shouldn't be so high and low. If you get likes, you're so happy. If you get no likes or things don't go the way you planned, you're just depressed and in a bubble and can't get out of it for like days. So I was just like, yeah, I think that's normal. So I basically spent from 2021 to 2022 distracting myself with work. So at the end of 2022, I was feeling kind of like empty. I'm not gonna lie, like it sounds dramatic, but I was not feeling like myself. I had been doing all these fun things in that year. I traveled to Europe, like I had never been to Europe. I had made the most money I'd ever made in a month, period. And I'm like, it's so weird and like strange that I'm having all of the success in my career and my financials that I couldn't translate to the thing I loved most, which was creating. And also at this time, I want to say I was going through a lot of comparison. I was looking towards everyone else's journey other than my own. And that also felt really weird and annoying, just to consume so much content knowing that you could create the same content. And I would start off here and there on TikTok doing like a little bit of like hauls or things I bought or jokes I was making. I was never really expressing myself the way I could have been. With my TikTok, I had had my account since 2019, and I was posting initially when it was like COVID and everybody was told to work from home. I kind of was dabbling with it there, and I did go viral honestly in one of my first like 10 videos, but I never kept up with it, and I just kind of like let it linger because I wasn't getting that continuous virality. So it really wasn't until 2022 at the end of it where I was just like, I'm gonna actually decide to post consistently on TikTok. And there was nothing that necessarily pushed me in that direction other than the fact that I was just feeling this like empty void from not creating anything. I came across somebody doing this, or saw this on TikTok, somebody doing Vlogmas on TikTok. And if you know what Vlogmas is, on YouTube, I believe it originated on YouTube, but you basically vlog every day up until Christmas. But I'd never really seen that translated into TikTok. And I was like, that's a perfect way for me to start. It gives me a challenge. I can do that. I don't really have a plan. I don't have a strategy. And I had been so used to doing strategy and planning for my clients that I was just kind of burnt out of like overthinking my posts. I just wanted this to be my space to do whatever I wanted, because 40 hours a week, I was following all the rules with all of my other social media clients. And there were things that I wanted to test with my social media clients that I just was never allowed to do. So there was a lot of like skills and just like ideas and strategies that were just kind of underdeveloped in my mind because I never got to practice on anyone. So I was like, why not practice on myself? So I said, I'm gonna go into this app where I'm kind of low key. Like I had some people following me from like high school, college, but not a lot. I was like, no expectations, no rules, just post one video every day for Vlogmas. And so that's what I did. I started documenting my day, and I remember I didn't even add music. I just added like one title, maybe captions. I don't even think I did that at the time. And it was just a nice way to like see my life in the version of like some kind of art, which I hadn't done in a long time. So this was kind of like a big deal. I was like, wow, like my stuff is kind of actually looking cool. I'm enjoying my own vlog. So let's go timeline from when I started to grow on TikTok. In December of 2022, I had around 780 followers. It slowly began to grow as I was posting this Vlogmas content. It'd be like 10 followers maybe a week, 20 followers, and I had this chart of basically tracking how much I was growing week to week just to keep me motivated. There would be small moments where I would post something and it would actually go viral. There was a hair video that I posted about me using a Revlon blow dryer. I think that was like my first real viral video after I had gotten my first viral post back in like 2019. This was such an interesting phenomenon because even though I love social media and I've been on social media my whole life and I've managed other people's accounts, like I hardly had the experience of anything going viral for me. And my goal with Vlogmas was to post one video every day. And then in January of 2023, I was like, I might as well just keep this up and post every single day. Let's look at the numbers. Okay, I pulled up my Notion dashboard. So in January, I posted a total of 57 videos and my goal was only to post 40 videos. So that was even like, oh my God, I'm kind of getting good at this to where I can post more often than not. Then in February, I upped my goal to 45 videos and I posted 52, which was still over my goal, but technically less than the 57 I posted in January. And then in March, I had a goal of 55 videos and I actually posted 78. And I was starting to notice like the patterns are non-patterns. Like just because I went up in video count does not mean that I went up in followers, but there are certain videos that make up for the sum of your followers or the sum of your views. So April to May, something crazy happened. So that was like my biggest viral video I think I have to this date. So at the end of March, I went to Bali and had the trip of my life in a good and bad way. So one, I did get engaged on that trip, And two, I also got delayed 4 days into Bali and had to basically stay in Korea for 2 days. We had a good trip in the middle. I got proposed to, and then at the end of it, my fiance and I both got Bali belly on the way back. So we got food poisoning, and I was vlogging this entire trip because one, I just like to vlog, but two, it was such a crazy incident. I'm like, I might as well just make some light and play out of this whole thing. So I vlogged the first day thinking it was gonna go well, but it ended up going awfully. Everybody was just as shocked and astounded as I am, giving me tips. I think the first video, the first day of the vlog, got to like 700,000 views, and I'd never gotten that before. So that led to a train of growth basically for the next month. So all of April, I was getting like 400 followers a week or 200 followers a week. So it was still like high numbers. At the time I was thinking, if I post more videos, I'll get more followers. I'll just have more to put out, and then more will come back to me. Which generally, I think as someone who's starting, yes, the more the better, because you're practicing. So you're getting that practice in. And also there's just more chances of you to go viral with more videos, but it doesn't always mean that you're gonna get more followers back. In April, I was like, I'm gonna put out as many as I can. This is starting to work. So I put out 85 videos. And then in May, also another surge of growth. I don't know what I posted around this time that got me so many followers in 1 week, but I grew 1,000 in 1 week, I think, from another viral video. At the end of May and then beginning of summer is kind of where I was hitting a slump. Like all of the hype from the Bali videos died down. I was trying to figure out what my niche is as a creator. I still wasn't understanding where I was supposed to be. I was just kind of riding off the tailwinds of my past viral videos. That kind of leads me to the things I'm reflecting on now, almost a year later. But first, I want to get into the takeaways from that 6-month period of me posting consistently. Like, what did I learn and what came to me during that time? And this is stuff that I don't hear all the time. I tend to hear the same tips and tricks about TikTok and the same lessons and learnings, but actually doing it, I found a whole other side, and I found lessons and things that I just didn't hear before. Okay, I thought we'd get close and comfy. I have my blanket, go get yours. This is the first and most important lesson. And I want you to drill this in your brain, because this is something you can take not even for TikTok, just like as a creator in general. And if you're wondering, like, who are you to tell me this? I'm not the best. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to claim to be a social media guru, but after working in it for like the past 3 years, doing it myself on multiple platforms and seeing how creators with big platforms and small platforms have the same problem, I'm telling you this because I love you and I want you to know the truth. Okay, it's not about your editing style. It's not about your hacks, your captions, your psychological tricks to manipulate the viewer, or your formulas. It's about practicing how to be yourself on camera over and over and over again. One thing I didn't understand, which I'm so glad, regardless of my follower size now, is this is a practice. This is learning. This is a journey you're going on. This is not just like, how can I get to growth the fastest way possible? Because you want to walk away, followers or not, with the skills that you can use to recreate that following all over again. And everything takes time. Good things take time. So when you're practicing how to repeat your message or get your message out of your head, you're basically practicing how to articulate it. And this takes time and it takes repetition. So a lot of people, even clients I've had, they're scared to post, they're scared to do the wrong thing, but that is literally the only way to learn. You have to just post. Like, people telling you to just post, they're not saying it because it's fun to say that. It's literally the truth. Editing, hacks, tips and tricks, all those things that you're gonna hear on TikTok or Instagram Reels or wherever, those help when you have a solidified message and audience. If you don't know what you're talking about or who you're talking to, all of those editing hacks and everything is just going to be time consuming and make you more frustrated when you're not getting to your goal. They aid an already functioning system. Number 2, be real over being valuable. This is something personally that I just never heard from other people, and I think it's so comforting and relieving to hear as a creator. I always thought that I have to be outwardly beneficial to someone. I have to provide them value. And yes, generally as a content creator, you are providing value to people. But if you are not providing value to yourself by expressing your craft, it's not going to last. And if I grow based on the notion that I always provide value to my customer or my audience only, and my sole focus is to please you, that's what I'm gonna have to do for the rest of my content creating career. It's better that your content also appeases you and also brings value to you first. You know what's valuable? The truth, honesty, being yourself, being relatable, the things that you can't search or find anywhere. That's what most people are missing. We already have Emma Chamberlain. We already have Monet McMichael. We already have Emily Mariko. We need something that we haven't seen before. We need something unfamiliar. We need something that literally only you have, like your uniqueness, how you are as you are, because we think we have to mold what we already are into something that exists already because that's what's working. It's working because it existed for a long period of time. If we saw you in your uniqueness for a long period of time, it would also work too. I think Coco Moco said this the other day. She said, the unfamiliar people or the things that are unpopular tend to go viral if it's combined with repetition and consistency. So David Dobrik wasn't popular until he made being David Dobrik popular. So his style of editing, Emma Chamberlain's style of editing, their style wasn't popular at the time. I didn't understand this at the time, that one, content creation takes a lot of time. You just have to stay in the game longer than most people are willing to. And two, you have to repeat something, one thing, that's why niching works really well, over and over and over, because you're basically waiting for when your audience is ready for you or when they find you, and you never know when that's gonna be. When you hang out with your friends, they don't ask you to perform or pretend or put on a voice or change who you are. They want you because of who you are already. Even that relationship took time. You had to consistently be who you are so that you guys stay friends. It's the same thing with the content creator and the viewers. You have to consistently be yourself over a long period of time so your audience can develop an actual friendship or relationship with you. Another thing I learned, which was not intuitive to me, was like, you don't always want to go viral. It's also not a good goal either. Like, going viral should kind of be like a circumstance that happens to you after you are just being yourself and posting authentically. I really thought, like, I just need as many viral videos as possible so I can grow as much as possible. But growth looks different for lots of people. And one thing we don't consider as small creators is that you can grow and have a huge audience and you are not making a penny from all of that. You can grow in a topic or a niche and it's working. It's getting you exactly where you want to go and you're making money off of it, you're profiting, but that is not something that you're passionate about 2 years from now. Or you can grow in a way that is slower. It takes a lot of time, but as you're growing that audience, you're getting more aligned. You're making sure you like what you're putting out. You make sure you like what you're selling. It is possible for someone to go from 0 followers to literally 50,000 overnight. Just because you're not getting that growth of like 50 followers this day, 100 followers this day, 150 this day, does not mean you're not growing. The growth can happen all in the span of a few days. Kind of like the overnight success effect. You think that just because someone blew up overnight that they started overnight. The process begins here, and you never know in this whole journey when something is gonna uptick and you're gonna go up. So you just need to make sure that whatever you're doing for that indefinite amount of time is something that you actually like to do or that you actually enjoy talking about. If you go viral before you're ready for it, you end up doing things like ghosting, never showing your face again because you don't know what to do with this huge audience. You feel all this pressure. You post other content that's kind of unrelated and doesn't seem to pick up traction afterwards, or you kind of feed into the virality and it's not something that you're actually passionate about posting, so you do it anyway, and then you end up with an unaligned audience who doesn't buy from you, who doesn't care about what's going on in your life, who's not for you, is not your people. The virality should come in kind of like as a treat to the things you're already doing. Ask yourself, when you say, I want to go viral, why do you want to go viral? I want to go viral because I want to have an audience. Okay, so think about that step instead of going viral. How do you build an audience? That's a better question to ask yourself. You can do that through the series. You can do that through highlighting some of your community members or building a Discord or building a Slack group. Like, start practicing how to build a community now instead of waiting to go viral to do that, because you want the virality to boost up the things that you're already doing. If your system, if your content process can't even handle 10,000 more followers, don't wish for going viral. And not to mention, you also don't need like 100,000 followers to have a lead. Even with my small audience, I was able to attract people, a talent manager, brands, and I think it's because at the time I wasn't necessarily posting super aligned content, but I was posting things that I was passionate about and that were fun to me. And I think that shows. When people see that you enjoy what you do, that you're being authentic, it's attractive. They want to be a part of it, whether that's to be your friend, to work with you, collaborate with you. This all kind of leads me to, you don't necessarily need to define your niche. And I'm not anti-niche, because if you niche, you will grow, and you will probably grow faster than most people. People like simplicity. They like familiarity. If you're posting about the same thing, they can count on you for posting about that. You are their go-to reminder for learning programming, for working out. You will grow in a faster rate if your content is at least decent. My hypothesis, my theory about most people is that we don't necessarily need to define a niche, because from birth, we are already a niche. Like, you as a person, as you are watching this video, have interests, maybe a few hobbies, you have friends, you have a certain way of living. Even if you think your lifestyle is boring, it is a certain kind of lifestyle. So there are things you do in your life for a reason. For instance, for me, I tend to always want to dress up and travel to cute cities. I always want to hang out and have conversations with my friends. I always tend to focus on like personality tests and how people work and how they think. And I also like social media. I also like video editing. I like writing. I like anything that kind of goes into marketing. Without me putting a label on it, I've already identified 3 areas of my life that consistently take place. And I think most people can do the same. Even if your habits are watching Netflix, or even if your habits are ordering Uber Eats, investigate why you do the things you do, because I think you'll find natural niches and patterns within the things you do. And what I like to do, especially with my clients, is choose an overarching theme or message as opposed to niches or even pillars, because you want to focus on the thing that you're always aiming for. You can call it a mission, as in like the mission, vision, values. Like, this is something you're endlessly trying to do, and every action that you do, there's a reason behind it. So if you're always watching Netflix, this could be because you have a true passion for movies, and maybe you really are curious about film and want to explore it. Or it could just mean that you're escaping from your day-to-day life because you're confused in your 20s. Either one is something that you can craft a message around. Maybe you see life through film and you want other people to see life through film. Maybe you're struggling to find yourself in your 20s and you're imperfectly going through that process, and you want other people to feel less alone. There's always a way you can frame your life and what's in your life or your business or whatever you're doing or why you're doing your business to create a message or a North Star for you and your audience. At least for me, I did not find it helpful to pick a subject, because how we use it, I think, is kind of incorrect. Like, we talk about subjects as niches, like health and wellness. That to me is a topic or a subject. It's not a niche. It's not adding any flavor to the subject. Everybody can niche in health and wellness if they wanted to. And it is saturated because health and wellness is such a broad category. But if you put your own spin on it, like, this is health and wellness for lazy girls in their 20s, that is a niche part of health and wellness. Say goodbye to the niche. You are the niche. Whatever you are doing, however you are, is niche in of itself. You are taking things from life. You've already packaged it into one human being. So there's something about the flow and the pattern of how you live your life that's already niche. So this is where I say, just post whatever the hell. And a lot of people will say that that's wrong advice, and it totally depends on your goal, right? But if you are trying to figure out your niche instead of trying to go top down and artificially place it, I would say test things out. Test more than you perfect. Experimentation is the only way to know that your niche is aligning with you and your long-term goals. You can niche in something and grow, and it has nothing to do with the goals or where you want to get. Test out your options. See what you like, what you don't like, what people respond to, what they don't respond to, and then make an assessment from there. You're so much more in a better spot to have longevity with being a content creator than just posting about a topic because it's popular and people receive it well. And this is coming from someone who's a perfectionist and wanted to make sure everything I did was aesthetic and matched and was super aligned, but you'll never get started if you think that you have to wait for the niche to find you, or that you have to pick the perfect niche. Even though I would say not going towards niches is probably the best direction for someone in the beginning because it's just too much information, I think it's still better to pick a niche than to not post at all. But if you're gonna start, just start posting what you naturally feel called to. If you had a really bad day and you like to vent, start posting about your venting. If you like sports and you have so much to say when you watch sports or you watch reality TV, start posting about your commentary. those are things that will kind of show you how it translates from ideas in your head to a reality. Then you also get to get feedback from the audience. And that's where I feel like TikTok is really good at helping you test things faster, because it gives you more reach than most social media platforms these days. Then, funny enough, the videos that I least expected to go viral went viral. One thing you have to understand is that TikTok is a random platform. The algorithm is something that we can't fully understand, and I don't even think the people who work at TikTok can fully understand it. And I think algorithms are based on our behavior and what is working. So the algorithm is just gonna push out what is working and not push out what is not working. I used to kind of get into a defeatist mentality when things aren't working or blowing up, or when I wasn't getting the jackpot every time I played the slot. And I think that's why there is such an importance on doing things because you love it, or talking about things because you're interested, or because you're thinking about the community that's going to benefit from it, because there needs to be some other reason other than your TikTok doing well. I can't know definitely that every single video is going to go viral, and I don't think it's worth your time to guess or estimate. If you happen to have like this golden piece of content that does well every time, that's great. You can use that to your advantage when you want to surge up your views, but I don't think you should rely on one strategy over the other. You're always going to be growing as a creator, and there's going to be things that work so well in 2022 and things that don't work that well in 2023, and then it works again in 2024. You just never know. So I think posting because you're doing it for a bigger purpose or for a bigger audience or even for yourself makes it so much worth it. When maybe the video that you put all your effort into doesn't do well, it's okay, because it's still a part of your portfolio. Nothing goes to waste. And then I'm gonna add in a bonus here. I'm gonna go back to my other point that I made, that you don't really need a huge audience to kind of get the things you want. If you're posting aligned content that matches things that you believe in, things that you find interesting, things that you have a lot of knowledge in, people who are interested in that same subject will come find you. This is another benefit of being authentic, because when you are authentic, you start to attract exactly what you're looking for without even trying. I know I low-key manifested a brand deal. I had been thinking of this brand, Saltaire, who I am now on their PR list, which I never expected in a million years. And I had loved their product so much that on FaceTime with my best friend, I was talking about how much I loved their product. She was telling me, she was just like, are you like sponsored by these people? You're literally talking about this product so much with so much passion. And I was like, well, no, I'm not sponsored by them. But I was just like, it never occurred to me in that moment that I could be. And then when I thought about it, I was like, I love this. I genuinely love this product so much that I'm talking to my friend like an ad. So why don't I just post about it? And I remember making this particular TikTok where I was talking about my Saltaire body washes and how I bought like every scent, and that video blew up. Funny enough, I was gonna reach out to Saltaire myself, but they reached out to me because I saw this video and I had tagged them, and they were like, we would love to do like an ad with you. They wanted to use the video I had already made and pay me so they can run the ad on TikTok. And I was like, oh my God, how did they know? Like, that was so weird. It literally felt like it just came to me. Like, and that's when I was just like, oh my God, I'm gonna totally post about things, because you never know what can happen. And also there were certain things, like I was talking about earrings, and I had put my Amazon affiliate link. I think I made like $100 just from that video, and it only got like 12K. If you're interested in affiliates, I highly recommend, for the brands you already use, look up their affiliate program. General affiliates, I use Like to Know It for all of my outfits. I can put a link down there if you want to become a Like to Know It girly. You can also use Amazon affiliates. That's really good. I'll get like 50 bucks, 200 bucks, 100 bucks every month for doing no extra work. And Saltaire reached out to me when I only had 2,000 followers. So if you don't have a lot of followers and you are thinking like, how am I gonna get a brand deal? UGC is a thing. They want to use your content to run it as ads, so you can charge them for that too. Trust me, you never know what's possible until you get started. I highly suggest just posting once or finding a challenge. People I followed and thought like, oh my God, they're so holy and golden, like, are now people that I network with. And that is something that happened from me just putting my ideas out there and just posting. If you're curious on how to start posting or what to say or how to do things in a trendy way, I have a free digital download on how to stand out as a creator on TikTok. I made this after my journey posting. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about TikTok or posting or content or marketing, leave them down below. I would love to continue this conversation. I will see you in my next video. Bye.